WIIFTBP and
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Kris the Critic Relationship Hour with Gina B. Why you are not married. Number one, you ain't all that. I know that's hard for y'all to swallow. I don't look as good as my 22-year-old self. People need to realize that. You just ain't all that. And I get it. I got this master's degree. I went to this school, that school. I worked hard for this job, for this house. And then she over there got that man. And you don't have one. Men are very simple creatures. So, ladies, for you very accomplished ladies, I got some advice for them.
What's that?
I always say it like this. You can write this one down. Be a kitten, not a cat. What does that mean, Kris?
What does that mean?
You ever played with a kitten? It's real friendly. It almost acts like a puppy. And you want to play with it. You want to look at the little kitty. It just makes you feel good. Now, have you ever seen an adult cat? When it feels like it, it might rub against your leg and move away. But is that men like kittens?
Kittens will play with anybody. A cat is particular.
Listen, what did we learn? Men are very simple creatures.
Right.
You can fool us. We want you to laugh at our dumb jokes. So all you super smart women out there, you good looking women, you see a guy you like, you guys do make it out on a date, he actually pays for the date. When you're actually with that person, the dialogue is happening, the dinner is happening, you say, okay, this might work, this might work. It would help if you act a little blind.
Oh my God, Becky.
I mean, you're going to hear me say that a lot. Be nice to
So
him.
you
hear the worst joke ever, but if you sort of like them, laugh at it. There you go. Hey, it's a lot of married women out there. If we got any married women chiming in, if I'm telling a lie,
that one's a fake laugh.
let me know. Right.
What you're saying is that we should cater to the male ego, and that's what's ultimately going to get us married.
I'm first saying recognize that I think some of us, more women than men, look in the mirror. You ever seen a little lion look in the mirror and see somebody real big? They see somebody a little more fine than what they are. And I'm not calling anybody ugly, so I'm not here to bash anybody.
Let's look at Middle America, okay? Middle America is not attractive.
They're not?
Middle America is largely married.
Okay, I think we're on the same page there. People we get stuck to reality shows sometime and think we're supposed to have, I got a degree in a house, so I'm supposed to have Idris Elba or his twin.
Well, I mean, have you noticed, okay, so you remember your friends from high school, right? And you remember how they had all of these qualifications for, if she's going to lock me down, she got to be this, that. She's got to have an ass like that.
That's all we really looked at. Stop right there. That's really what are men? Simple creatures. We want to be fed. We want you to laugh at us, give us some. And that's it. Together.
To all of our women, a woman's beauty is not always seen. It takes special attention if she's the queen. Love and caress her, give her all of you, all that you got. Keep the loving so true. Ain't nothing like the beautiful. What would we do without you? We can't live without her, and we can't live without her. Every man needs one right by his side. Built up from grace, sensitive with emotions. Can't nothing satisfy but some good old devotion. A kind of word every now and then. Keep her on your side. Pay attention, man. Keep your beautiful head up, 'cause you are the backbone to our life. You can take so much more than a man. That's why you take so much from a man. We adore you, put nothing before you. Gotta be thankful 'cause you're around. You. Can't nothing be done without the love you have. This one goes out to all of my women out there. It's your time to rise. It's your time to shine. You've been put here for a reason. Yes,
Count me down.
Well, we have, okay, there we go.
You make the house a home. If you've been battered and abused, this one goes out to you.
Microphone
There we go.
issues.
I'm
Now we
good
sound
now.
great.
All right. Perfect.
Again, for those who may or may
Hey.
not have heard me, welcome to the Kris the Critic Show. Happy Wednesday. I'm Kris.
I'm Gina.
This is Gina B. For those who are just joining in, I see Will Singleton. What's happening?
Hey, Freddie Baez, you still here?
Happy New Year. If we haven't seen you, it's our first time seeing you. Major announcement. Kris the Critic Show in the What's in It for the Black People Studios. This is our final broadcast from this home.
So sad.
Very sad.
Very
I love
sad.
this place.
We're
It
gonna
looks
miss
nice.
it. It's a
It
great
does.
studio.
It looks very nice. But
Maze, damn you. Anyway.
But shout out to the What's in It for the Black People head honcho, Maze Jackson, Tennille Jackson, their staff, all the producers for allowing us to work and bring you this show from such a magnificent place. Next week, we'll still be same bat time, but not the same bat channel.
Different channel.
So,
But we'll let you know.
we'll let you know now. You can find us in two places starting next week.
Fair point.
The Kris the Critic page on Facebook, which is KRIS space THE space Critic with a C.
Right.
Also, go to YouTube on Kris the Critic. Spell it the same way, KRIS space the space Critic. You'll see us next Wednesday, 6 p.m. So, but again, yeah, I'm kind of sad about that. I like this place.
I know. It's
You
we've
two,
done
our
this for a
producers,
while.
you guys have to come to my house and help do the show. And to all of you who have tuned in and checked us out and supported us, thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
Now, without further ado,
Here we go.
and have you? We did have a celebratory cocktail, didn't we?
We did.
We did. We'll have another at the half.
We're going to continue to have them.
But it's a new
FYI.
year, people.
Yeah. 2022 has already been a little weird.
You got to
but it's done.
shed old bad habits. Some of you have to shed people. So, this show is dedicated to those of you in the dating field.
Yep.
It is entitled Mistakes People Make When Dating.
That's right.
Avoid these pitfalls.
For a
And you got-
successful relationship.
Well, you got a good shot at one. It's still tricky.
I mean, listen, it is tricky. It's
still tricky.
Most relationships do not work out,
but
you do not have to further that by having bad habits.
I know I have made the same mistakes when I was dating plenty of times. So, question before we get started, show of likes. Who has made plenty of mistakes in dating that's willing to admit it? Just there's a 25 second delay from our screen, so eventually we'll see some. I'm assuming I'm not the only one. I should put both hands up. I've made that many mistakes.
Oh, look at all the likes are coming in.
Oh yeah,
See?
people have made mistakes.
People
Now,
have.
Thank you for being honest.
Being
now,
honest with us, we appreciate it.
Before we get into the meat of this presentation, show of hearts. Show of hearts. Good evening. Is that Alvin? Good evening, Alvin.
Alvin Norton. Hi.
Show of hearts. Not likes this time. If you feel you can't find love, Mr. or Mrs. Right, not Mr. or Mrs. Right now, Mr. or Mrs. Right, because it's been all their fault and not yours. That was me too. I always said it was her, not me.
I'm very introspective.
I always said it was them, not me.
Yes, Alvin, it is hot. Is the infernal blazing in here, which
It
is why
is. It is extremely hot.
Yeah, like last week I was about to die.
If we could pan over, you can see our coats and sweatshirts.
We're bundled. Anyway.
So, what did you say?
No, I was just saying we bundle up.
It is. It's warm in here.
It's hot.
They do it on
Hot
purpose.
Her.
They do it on purpose.
Anyway, all right, let's get into both of us have lists today.
So, I am a gentleman.
Oh.
So that means
Uh-oh.
we will tackle mistakes that men make.
Cool.
Don't worry, fellas. It won't be that bad.
Yeah, because
Mistakes that men make.
Chauvinist,
So,
just
guys,
prepare yourself.
if you're constantly out there and it ain't working, these women, they just want my money. They don't know a good thing. They superficial. They just want to go out and eat. It's all of their fault. Here are some things, brothers, that you might be able to correct. And without further ado, Gina B, would you like to toss out one? I got a list, but we'll let Gina throw out. And if you say some things that I don't, go ahead.
Well, mine are really
give me one.
Mine are really when you're in a relationship, right?
That's cool. Give us one.
Cool? Okay. So
A lot of people in relationships.
You deprioritize her.
Ooh. What? All right. Now,
going straight in.
Now, wait a minute. Gina B is engaged to a wonderful man. But for the brothers out here who are trying to get there, could you break down the word deprioritize?
Which means
for the regular brothers.
If you don't know that, okay. So first of all, if you don't know what deprioritize means, then don't know. But so that means you put everything in front of her. She's not a priority to you. Anything that comes up could preempt anything that you're doing with her.
Do you think a lot of, and again, I'm not around in a lot of women dating. Mrs. Critic might know the answer to this. But do you think that is an issue for a lot of women that you know dating? Like, this would work out, but I just don't feel like I'm that important to him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's solid.
He'd rather hang out with friends. He'd rather be where. I mean, like, a lot of men, they put like 7 things in front of women.
Right.
I
think that is a solid do not do. What could one do to rectify that?
Just commit to putting the relationship at least in the top 3.
Again, give us some examples of what the brothers could do
would be
to show his girl that he might be trying to win over to the next level.
If you have a plan with her, that is solid, right?
Right.
Like that, and that speaks to consistency, which is very important in relationships. If she knows that when you have a plan, it's a plan, not when Pookie and them call you and they want to play basketball and you say, baby, you know what? We can't hang out today because I got to hang out with Pookie and him. You know what I mean? So don't do that.
Solid. And most of these guys aren't playing basketball anymore, but we get it.
Mm-mm.
So, another mistake by the fellas.
Mm-hmm.
And ladies, if you see this, be careful. Be careful.
Careful.
He treats others poorly. If you are at a restaurant and he's yelling at the waiter, he's belittling the wait staff. Okay? He gets road rage and wants to fight the person on the way to the date. Ladies, you are going out with a psycho.
Okay.
He has ass whooping potential and is to be avoided.
Okay, I have road rage.
Again,
I'll cut somebody out behind the wheel of my car. I'm just saying.
Most women are crazy, but that's okay. We accept you like that. We like you like that.
We're about to.
But ladies, seriously, if he treats others poorly, beware, he's a psycho. Now, fellas, if you're finding that well, maybe I do that poorly. For the sake of the date that you're on or the woman that you are pursuing, pretend that you're not and act like you have some sense. All right? Do you have another one for the gentleman?
I do.
Okay.
You're intimidated by her.
I hear women say that.
Well,
I just haven't met a woman. I'm just intimidated. Ooh, oh my God, here she comes. I'm intimidated.
Let me be more clear.
Break that down.
Because I don't agree. Now, see, I'm not a person who, when you hear women say, he just intimidated by me, and like I'm usually like, no, you're just a bitch, right? Like, so there's a lot of people who are just claim intimidation, but it's like, nah,
You just
sis.
out here calling guys in your former life when you were an Instagram model. You just calling guys bitches like that?
No. I mean, when women say that, I'm like,
Gotcha.
no, sis, you're kind of bitchy. You know what I mean? So I'm not the person who subscribes to that most of the time, right?
Okay.
But I will say that there are men who are intimidated by women's accomplishments, and they can't really get past them. Like I have some successful female friends, and their relationships have fallen apart because the man couldn't get past the fact that they were very successful and it did something to their masculinity.
Okay.
The way their masculinity was set up.
Fellas.
It didn't really.
the way my masculinity is set up, though, let me tell you, that is golden. But fellas, you want to have a successful woman. I, too, know some guys out here playing. They only take charity cases, and they don't want to always
They're
appear.
like Captain Save-A-Ho.
They are Captain Save-A-Ho. And as one of my buddies told me, fellas, it's okay to have a woman out here killing it. Doesn't take anything away from you. A wise man once told me, and fellas, write this one down. I'm giving you a jewel. You want an earner, not a burner.
You do not want a hay burner. I call them hay burners.
You don't want a burner. You want an earner. I just think that's common sense.
Because if they're not earning, they're burning.
Ladies, fellas, another mistake. Shout out to Shelly McIntosh just joined in. Hey, Shelly. Ladies, here's what you want to avoid. This is a mistake women make dating this type of guy.
You mean the men make?
Fellas, don't be this type. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna act it out. I'm going to role play this character.
All right, let's go.
I'll give you all a hint. His name's Rowan. This is how Rowan acts.
What's that name?
You go out, you see, I am taking you out, and I am the type of guy who opens the door for you. Not only do I open the door, I go to the other side. And when we get to the dinner, you cannot just order off of the vegan plate. No. Not off the chicken plate. I am one of the men who will give you steak because I am so accomplished. Now, Rowan's last name is Pope, also known as Dr. Pope.
Rowan Pope?
From Scandal. That was my Papa
Not
Pope.
Rohan.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He will beat you behind closed doors.
He will. And also, it seems like he's successful. And you might be impressed by a lot of the things he can do. He can show you, people he can introduce you to. But that is code for shallow. I am a little boy inside. I may have a micro penis, if you see that out here in the streets.
And if he has a
the last show.
You know what's up.
You should be able to say penis on the last show.
We can talk all about penis.
All right, bro, that's the real thing.
I want to see some eggplant emojis. Let's go for it. All right. So
what's another mistake that the fellas make?
Okay.
We're going in on the fellas, but make no mistake.
But the second half.
The second half, ladies, don't even leave and say, I got all the mistakes we make. Stick around.
Yep. So another good one is they don't inspire trust. Inspire trust.
It is a lot of liars out here, though. It is.
So you can't say a woman doesn't trust you when you don't do things, when you're shady, when you don't do things that make her trust you, right? So you've got some weird behavior, some shit going down that like nobody in their right mind would, and then she don't trust me. Well, I don't think she should.
Yeah.
If that's her spidey senses going off, and that means she's perceptive. It doesn't mean that.
And usually, fellas, I hate to tell you, if she says something, she's noticed it a while back. It's probably mounted some evidence into your file because she has a file.
All day. All day.
So it is what it is. Here's a mistake that fellas make. Fellas. And I see this, I hate to say it. If any of my friends are watching, I'm not saying it's y'all. it's our other homie. They expect women to act, especially after they've dated once or twice, act like their mother. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fellas, hint. If you want to be called king, queens are earned.
Yes.
You lead by example.
Right.
And I have seen, and I'm not trying to shit on my male brethren, they talk a lot, but they're not really doing a lot. But yet they expect a lot. That will make a relationship go south. You will think it's her, but it is you. Don't be that person.
Yeah. So many men like, I want my queen. It's like, well, are you really a king?
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you really deserve to be a king?
Yeah. Kings
I don't know.
Kings do the small. Kings don't just do the big thing. Kings do a lot of little things to become king.
You got to do the hard stuff. You
Write
do
that
the
one
hard
down.
Stuff. It's and if once again, if we're in traditional relationship roles, right? We're putting our lives in your hands.
Oh, stop it.
Seriously.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
That's true. If somebody breaks in the house,
putting,
fellas, you got to jump in front of the bullet first.
No, realistically. No, if you're getting married to someone, finally, if you get all the way to the finish line, which is what you're hoping to do, right?
Some of us. We are assuming that the people we're talking to now want to get there.
Some people are hoping to get to the finish line.
Correct.
And if you get there, that means that your lives are in each other's hands, really.
Very true.
And, I don't know about you, but there are a lot of people whose lives I would not put my life in their hands.
Absolutely not.
I'm just saying. Just saying. So, all right.
You got another one?
Oh, yeah, of course I do.
Of course, we're talking about mistakes men make. She's like, I got a whole list. That's all she brought.
No, that's bullshit. This is a two-part. It's a compound.
A two-parter? A twofer?
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer.
When you're in a relationship, you don't give her enough gifts, and then you give her the wrong gifts.
You know what? Okay. I disagree.
Why?
Gifts are good.
Gifts are great.
Nope. I try not to personalize these broadcasts, but some people, no matter what gift you give them, it's not the right gift.
Some people have problems giving thoughtful gifts.
We agree to disagree. Gifts are good. We do agree on that, right?
Like if anyone gives me a vacuum cleaner, we done.
Gifts are good, though, right?
Gifts are great. And
a good vacuum cleaner is a good thing.
They don't need
Who doesn't want a good vacuum cleaner?
Let me just be clear. They don't need to be expensive gifts. It can be just a sign of thoughtfulness.
I feel better now that you qualify.
Like I'll tell you what. One of the things that my fiance did very early in our relationship, like
I'm sure it was beautiful before you even deal.
It wasn't even that big of it. Really wasn't that big of a deal. Like I had mentioned, because I like to cook, and I had mentioned that I was out of cumin seed, right?
Okay.
And I just mentioned this casually, and I didn't think he paid attention. And so he went to the store, and he's like, "Oh, I got you something," and it was cute. I was like, "That's very thoughtful," and I was very impressed because. Well, I should be more impressed in retrospect because now he doesn't listen to anything I say.
You have a winner. But that's a good thing.
I mean, you know what?
I'm just glad you qualified the thoughtfulness of the gifts.
Should I return the Dyson? We already have a Dyson, honey.
Okay, you all take care of that at home.
We have a Dyson.
We had a question. Chancey Brewer, we are actually talking about, we spending the first half talking about mistakes men make. Because I have been accused of not getting down on the fellas like I get down on the ladies. So, Chancey, Gina B mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that some of her things were mistakes men make while you're already dating. Most of mine are targeted at initial. Right. You mean now? One of mine is I only got two more, and we had to take a short break.
Yep. I got a couple.
You confuse, fellas, a booty for a brain. They both serve a purpose, but a lot of us, admittedly, I was one of them. If it's nice and round and then all normal thought, I forgave the signs that she's crazy. I looked past that she was bipolar, and I just followed the booty. Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
I'm not sure that you're confusing a booty for a brain because I don't think you cared about the brain when you saw the booty. I think that
booty made her look smarter in my eyes. It made her look like she was a good cook. It made her look like she could take care of kids. It made her look responsible. A good booty will make a woman look a lot better. Just round out. No
let me
pun intended.
I need to direct him to the Chris Rock bit about new pussy.
Well, what about it?
New pussy's illiterate. That's all I'll say. Anyway, okay. So
She has such
one,
a foul mouth. She looks so
Don't
ladylike and speaks so well. You
I
didn't think
can-
that would come out of her mouth.
Don't let the private school education.
What does she got? What you got? What you got?
So you're stuck. Like if you get stuck in romantic ruts and you won't apply any creativity to get out of them. Like for example,
That is a couple mistake. That's not just a men mistake.
Men do that a lot. We're just like, oh no, what do you want to do?
I think both sexes do it.
Okay, let me just. Okay, I'll do one more. Okay, I'll do one more.
Oh yeah, because that was both sexes do that.
You don't get her.
What do you mean you don't get her?
Like you don't understand what makes her tick.
You really want men to do so much thinking. See, this is when you've been dating. Don't ask me to do all this and get you early on. If we've been dating a while,
If you've been dating a while, you should get her. You should understand how she thinks.
Okay, fine. But I was thinking about just meeting
But you're
somebody.
not trying to get
And
her.
you're like 1 or 2 dates, and you show up and say, "You just don't get me."
Well, no, but
and I'm like,
you
no,
should
I
be,
don't get shit.
That should be your
I ain't
goal.
get
Your
none, so
goal
I ain't
should
gonna get
be
you.
to understand her. Like you should be asking questions. You should be making assessments. You should be trying to figure out who this person is that you're actually taking out on a
agree.
weekly basis, hoping to see the booty. I'm just saying.
No problem.
Okay, what you
with
got?
that.
What you got?
The last one, you mentioned it already. It's my actually top faux pas by fellas.
Faux pas?
And it is that too. It is no follow through.
Oh yeah,
Fellas, if you say you're going to do it,
do it.
do it. And if you're not going to do it, don't let her know 15 minutes after it was supposed to be done. You let her know 2 days before.
Right.
And then write this one down, fellas. I'm giving you a gem if you like. I'm giving you this. If you know you can't do it or don't want to do it or whatever the case, you're doing it with somebody else. Not only, this is early on, not only do you call in advance, you have plan B
That's
laid
right.
out and ready.
This is what I'm talking about. That's a man who
babe.
takes initiative.
We're not going to be able to make it. I know I was looking forward to it too. It's Monday. This is on Thursday.
Right.
In lieu of that, throw out a word like that.
This is what I'm saying.
In lieu of that, I have this planned all day Saturday.
Exactly. We need to know that we can rely on you and consistency. Like that's why I told you this several episodes ago.
I agree.
The thing I liked about my fiance a lot was that he was always consistent. That was really a
And
big
if
thing.
you really, if you fell out there with some deep pockets, first you show her what's happening, your secondary plan. But on the night it was supposed to happen, send her and her girlfriend somewhere, say some tickets for y'all to this show over here. Feather in the
for
cap.
your baby.
Feather in the cap. That's
So
how
many
you
feathers
do.
in that cap.
Kris the Critic. That was the mistakes men make. We're gonna take a short break,
Talking about women.
and then we're gonna make mistakes sisters make when dating. So all you women out there saying, it just ain't no good men out there, ain't no fish up in these seas. I got you. It's you. Talk about it. Be back in 2 minutes. Kris the Critic and Gina B. See you in a minute.
WIIFTBP.
Hey baby girl, if you're thinking it's that same dude, this ain't that same dude that tried to talk to you. I'm older now and my conversation's alright. What you wanna talk about? But seeing you tonight, I compliment you on your hair, your outfit, and your smile. I know you're tripping cause you haven't seen me in a while, but I'm older now, and I know more now. Don't you go nowhere, cause I'm ready, girl. I know I played some bogus games with you, girl. I wasn't ready, I wasn't a man for you, girl. I'm older now, I changed my ways on you, girl. I'm ready, girl. Baby, I'm grown now. I ain't another boy playing childish games. If I wait up to a young man trying to find you, baby, I can be all up in your mix. You're making you feel straight, cause I'm a grown man. Grown man, started out a boy playing childish games. If I wait up to a young man trying to find you, baby, I can be all up in your mix. You're making you feel straight, cause I'm a grown man. Doing grown man things. Get a house, a car, and anything you want. wanna do. But girl, that's up to you. I'm going in on you. That little kiss we had so many years ago, I still remember that and I just can't let it go. We used to stand in a hallway and we cried. I used to get mad at you and I'd whine. Baby, that didn't change. I'm a grown man. Look at my body, I'm telling you I can do some things. I know I played some bogus games with your girl. I wasn't playing, I wasn't a man for you, girl. I'm older now, I changed my ways on you, girl. I'm ready, girl. Baby, I'm grown now. Running on the point, playing childish games. Got my weight up to a young man, tried to find you, baby. Can be all up in your mix, you're making you feel straight. Cause I'm a grown man, doing grown man things. Running on the point, playing childish games. Got my weight up to a young man, tried to find you, baby. Can be all up in your mix, making you feel straight. Cause I'm a grown man, doing grown man things. What about it? What about it? Gotta be what about it? What about it? What about it? I gotta be what about it? What about it? What about it? I gotta be what about it? What about it? What about it?
Welcome back to the Kris the Critic Show. I'm Kris. This is Gina B.
Hi.
Tonight, we're talking about mistakes in dating. So for the first half, we went in on my male brethren, talked about some of the mistakes that men make when dating, some at the onset of the dating relationship, the courtship, and some as you're into it. Some of them were, you talked about men not being honest or upfront. That was the big one, men, we lie. Well, y'all do, not me. We talked about confusing a booty for a brain.
Or not caring about the brain, deprioritizing.
We did.
The
We
brain
talked about
for the booty.
men who are being controlling or overinflated egos, et cetera, et cetera. But enough of that. This half is dedicated to getting some of my single sisters, some of my good women out there who just haven't found him, or he hasn't found you, or God hasn't dropped him out of the sky. This advice is for you. These are some mistakes. I should say opportunities.
There we go.
You're in the.
That's a very positive way to slant this.
Here's some opportunities
I like it.
that I think would help land some women, a man, or men. I don't know what you're into. You kicked it off last time.
You kick it off this time.
I'll kick it off again.
Yeah.
Here's the first. And I've said something. This sounds bad. Sisters,
He's already
black
started.
women, don't be mad at this one.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
You are not blonde enough.
Is this about to be a kid and not a cat?
Did you see our producer?
Yeah.
Don't shut the show off.
Yeah, he's like,
I
I'm doing.
mean, when you hear somebody says they're acting blonde, they act fun or giggly. All I'm saying is flirt back. That's all I was saying.
Exactly, Beulah. She's like, be a kid, not a cat. That is the... I said it. I told you.
She said be a kid, not a cat.
This is back to being a kid, not a cat. That's his favorite advice.
I got to get her a bottle of wine.
I love kittens.
I got to get her a bottle of wine.
Okay, well...
We're going to work that out. Who was that? Was
Beulah.
that Beulah?
Beulah.
Beulah's going to get a free bottle of wine.
Blonde enough.
I got to work that out. Beulah said be a kid, not a cat. But seriously, you got to flirt back. Think about it. And this is initial dating, okay? You're out. He's giving some corny jokes. We know they're corny. You laugh at them.
Oh, you're so funny.
Right? Exactly. That's
Oh
a
my
good example.
God.
Gina B.
You are
no matter how corny it is, say,
funny.
hey, yeah, he's like this. Yeah, right? That's
Can
funny,
you
right?
purr?
And you laugh. You laugh at that
Yeah.
shit. Because if he was worth you even getting up, getting dressed, putting on your little makeup, going, you saw something in him. So what if you're laughing at a dumb joke? Right? That's my first one.
Okay.
Flirt back was,
Oh,
Beulah said, be a kitten, not a cat. For
Okay.
those who are watching, I say be a kitten, not a cat, because a grown cat sort of comes up to you and does this when it wants to, and then you start to pet it back and it just walks away. Whereas a kitten is
the
playful.
cat has to know you.
A kitten acts like a puppy. A kitten's always ready to play.
Be a kitten, not a cat. What you got?
Catsuit. Look at Alvin Norton. Catsuit and stilettos. Okay, so mine is a little deeper
Oh, yours is
than
deeper.
that. Okay, so mine's another compound one. Okay, so I got a twofer. So
Another twofer.
one of the things that women do,
Uh-huh.
which I think is kind of a problem.
These your people now.
These are my people. I'm not mad.
This
Listen,
not me
I
saying
will tell
this.
you, they can be mad at me. It's all good.
All right.
But settling for a situationship rather than a relationship,
Ooh.
and then resenting him for what you settle for.
Say it again.
I knew you'd like it.
Say it again.
Settling for a situationship rather than a relationship, and then resenting him for what you settle for. So the thing is that women, I have a lot of friends that do this,
Give me an example.
right?
I
Where
apologize, ladies.
You
I was
start
too excited
off
about that.
You start off a situation. Well, you meet a guy, and you evolve into this thing, and you don't. You want to be like, oh, it's casual, it's cool. You want to be cool, right?
Right.
But the next thing you know, y'all hooking up, and there is no foundation for it.
Right.
Right? There's no, and then you can't change the rules of the game in the middle, and you can't be mad when he's like, well, I thought we
Right.
were in this lane. And you're like, well, wait, back up. No.
Right.
I want to be your woman. He's like, well, I didn't think that's where we were going.
Right. And
Can't be mad about that. You set
perfect.
it up.
And to add to that, another example that I see, that same situationship that you pointed out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's laying it down, and now you want to go on vacation with him to Dubai.
To Dubai.
And his ass is broke. You knew he was broke when you started the situationship. So anybody out here, he just don't have enough money. You knew he didn't have enough money. You did that. Don't ask him to change.
Yeah, don't hook
because
up with
now
the
you
broke-
want him to have some more
Don't
money.
hook up with the broke dude.
Unless
They
you
think
okay
he's
with
gonna
it.
pull thousands of dollars out of his pocket.
If
to do
that's
stuff
not
for
up
you.
to question, he could be broke, then okay.
I mean, if you're okay with it, but don't
to a
think
lot of
like-
women, it's important if you got a little money, and that's fine too.
Yep.
Um,
Lucy's right. Rules change when you hit. You mind. Spell on you. Go ahead.
My turn. Oh. Your luggage. And I'm not talking about your old set of Gucci luggage.
Your steamer trunks.
It is the baggage that you carry from past relationships will rear his ugly head. There's nothing worse than a man who has shown genuine interest in you, taking time out of his schedule, invested financially in this date, and on that date, you talking about what you will and won't do. We hit some sort of low battery thing like, come on, producer. Just letting you know.
Let's plug it in.
Can't see my little comments. Put some new batteries in the equipment. But it's nothing worse than you saying, well, I'm not going to do. And when you will notice, because you'll see us start checking messages. Because if he's into you, he's not checking messages. Mm-mm. And when it all else fails, go back to rule number 1, be a kitten, not a cat.
It's that thing. It's cool.
Before you give your next one, I can't see my comments.
That's because that phone is
I
right there.
don't
See
know
that
what
phone
I'm
right
supposed
there?
to do.
See that phone right there?
You
That
actually
phone.
want me to get up from my seat from the Kris the
That's what
Critic
you're
chair?
supposed to do.
Fine.
Yeah.
Gina B,
In the
give us the next
meantime,
point.
in between
While
time,
I go work
will.
while I go work on the show.
I'll drop another bomb because this one is not going to be a fun one either.
Out of here next week anyway.
This won't be a fun one, ladies. I'm just letting you know. Okay, but it's something that we need to address. Had a shot over the break.
What we got?
So we got not believing what you see and what he tells you.
What do you mean?
So, if you see signs, and some of the signs that you brought up in how men are making mistakes, if you see
Right.
signs of him being like crazy, abusive, blah, 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 and not believing them, or if he tells you things
Right.
like, I don't really want a relationship, I don't want to get married, I don't want to have kids, and you
Right.
don't believe that, and you decide you're going to pursue anyway, and then, 7 years later, you're like, well, I thought we were getting married and having kids. No, I told you
that. Yeah,
we weren't doing it.
You thought you were going to change his
can't-
mind.
Right, but women,
You thought that third kid was going to change his mind.
we
didn't
are
change his mind.
we are the original rehabbers. Women are.
You guys are.
We are the original rehabbers. So
I don't say that.
Yeah.
I don't like saying that.
but it's the God's honest truth.
Um,
It's the God's honest
Here's one for you. Advice from your single friends.
Oh yeah, don't listen. Your single
Ladies.
friends will keep you single.
that your single friends are single for a reason. And I'm talking about folks who have made it out of their 20s. And we give you, everybody's going to make a bunch of mistakes in their 20s. But by the time you get to your 30s and 40s and beyond, I'm pointing the finger back at you. And if you're taking advice from single friends, you're just basically regurgitating bad advice. You can listen to them because it's your girlfriend. But don't be saying don't act out on any of that shit. You find the one person you know or somebody else knows that's in a halfway decent relationship, and you go to her.
Right, and then you can tell, like, when they're judging you, right? Because
they want your ass to be miserable just like them. I can't say, girl, you right, he ain't shit.
This is what they say. And this is the equivalent of you're an idiot. Because they say, you better than me.
right.
You know what I mean? Which is the equivalent of, I wouldn't put up with that shit.
Right.
That's why
basically,
you don't have a man at home.
We can both talk to each other on Friday night alone. Talk about these Negroes.
Exactly.
Yeah. They don't like shit.
Right.
They mad. They're always mad.
Yeah, they're mad as hell. Cause
they look at this and say, this motherfucker's been half empty. And they ain't never seen a half full glass. Yeah, they some angry.
Oh, Lord,
they some bitter beavers.
Okay. It's on me now.
It's on you now.
Okay. So,
you really did have some notes.
I told you I had notes. I was going to end strong.
This is like the third show she's prepped for. Anyway.
Don't get smacked, okay?
You're just good off the cuff. You're better than me. I need to write stuff.
Okay. So here is something that I was taught a long time ago that I find applies in a lot of situations and definitely relationships. Okay, here's the quote, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. What does that mean? Don't compare your relationships to other people's because you never know what you're looking at.
I need the quote again. The next co-host I ever have won't be smarter than me in all these fancy quotes, but I liked it. What?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Well, I do like that.
You know, you're perfectly fine moving along in your relationship.
You better be careful. Somebody might steal that.
Lucia. And look, go for it. Like, if that is something that is helpful to you, please use it. I didn't make up the quote, but I will definitely tout it because it is so true. You cannot compare. Because you never know what's going on in someone else's relationship. Like, oh, he taking her to St. Lucia. He took her to, the 95th floor of the Hancock. Whatever. All that bullshit. Like, you don't know what's really behind that.
Right. That's
and
true.
just focus on the grass is greener where you water it.
Y'all heard that? The grass is greener where you water it, not where where you water it.
Where you water it. Focus on your shit. I'm just saying.
I got two more.
What you got?
The second, it seems obvious, but it's not. You won't change scenery. You go to the same watering holes, the same places, see the same people, go to the same spaces. Yet you wonder why you can't find a man. You can't go down to your local bar. That'll make you a qualified bar fly. But flies typically find a lot of. What do flies find?
Shit.
They look shit. So, again, we have said this before. You want a pilot? There is a black pilots convention somewhere going on. Want a black doctor? They got a group too.
Yeah.
Want a ball player? The NFL got a players party.
Or the NBA.
And a lot of guys,
it's popping off.
There might be, if you're older than a player, they got coaches that do well too.
Yeah, and they have the alumni.
You just have to go. If you want a certain type of fish, you got to fish in those ponds. You can't always just say, damn it, I just go to the dating game every week and I just cannot find him.
You will not.
Everybody is old and retired and broke.
Even more important than that, here's the deal. Like, yes, okay, but the thing though too is that you want to expand your own horizons for your own personal edification. Absolutely. Men like being a part of a woman's life who's enjoying herself.
True.
If you're having fun, people want to be part of that. They want to be like, how can I be down? But if you're just like,
you angry
as hell.
We don't like anger.
That will never attract a man ever.
I know
or
men.
A person. You want to attract friends. Like,
I know men. That's a great point because I know some men, to your point, they date slightly younger, not because they look better or they think they're in better shape. They just haven't been dragged down by life as much. Or at least they don't wear it. Because men get dragged down too. And you don't want to hear that either.
Okay, wait, let me just stop for a second. We have another person talking shit about our tank tops. It is hotter than hell.
Who that out there that says some shit about our tank top?
Hot as hell.
Who that out there?
Kendall, your boy, Kendall.
Didn't we just talk about him on the way here?
We did. On the way here, your ears must have been burning.
And I've been knowing him forever, so he gets some
He's
pass.
like, Gina B in here wearing tank tops. Like, okay, Kendall.
He says it's not a heat wave. He doesn't know how warm it is in here.
In the studio with all the lights that we have on.
It's hot up in her.
It's hot. Okay, anyway, I just had to bring that up because Freddie's co-signing. I'm like, all right, Freddie.
Haters.
Okay.
Haters in the building.
All right, back to our list.
Oh, yeah, it's on you.
Our list. So, another thing that a lot of women do.
What they do?
Is they abandon their friends when they get into a relationship, and I think that's a bad thing.
Got to. Don't take the advice, the single ones, but still keep your friends.
Right. Well, keep your friends. Stay interesting outside of the relationship.
Right.
Like I said, people are attracted to interesting people. I'm attracted to those people as friends, business associates. So why wouldn't it stand that you'd be attracted to those people as romantic?
That makes
mates?
sense.
You know what I mean?
That makes
sense.
sense.
People who are like, okay, I like what they got going on. Don't take everything away and be like, but I'm into you now. Nobody wants that shit.
Absolutely.
That shit is boring.
Gina B, you dropping jewels tonight. Give me some. I usually wait till the end of the show, but I like that one.
Thank you.
Here's one that won't be that popular, ladies. But you can write about it. You can talk about me. You can try to dispute it, and I will smack down anybody that says otherwise. My number one reason that a lot of women who want to be in a relationship can't be in one is because you're giving up the ass.
The booty.
And I know what you're thinking. Men do it. We also pee on trees. We ain't the smartest people to even be thinking about it. We don't want somebody everybody been sleeping with. We want to think that we worked hard for that. The women out here who are married, half of them were hoes in a previous life. But you know what?
And they moved.
And they moved.
You ever
I'm telling you,
met a new chick in a town?
And I know what they say. Man, I make my own money. I get my own degrees. I can sleep with who I want to. Keep fighting and be single if you want to. I'm telling you, those are, I'm not calling you a hoe. Those are hoe antics. It's a difference.
Yeah, that's
everyone goes through a hoe phase.
Okay, let's
those are hoe antics.
So let's
stop fucking. If every woman out there,
hey Travis,
close their legs. All y'all just say, you know what? Fuck that shit. Until we get some rings, ladies, we ain't giving up no pussy. And everybody did this.
He's
the
on a roll
next
tonight.
day, men gonna be like, look, will you please marry me? Because I need some ass. But if you giving up the ass,
which is so romantic,
the hell he gonna marry you for?
That's so romantic.
The average time for sleeping with somebody these days is 2.3 dates.
And what is a date right now?
2.3 days.
Let's zoom a couple times.
Told you I was gonna act the fool. This is the last show being broadcast.
I know.
Anybody got a problem with it? Boosie say sometimes. Just help me.
She's on her forced. Yeah, you know the nice girl that shows up in the new town. Like, oh, she's so nice. Let's hook up with her. And then you go back to her hometown. Everybody's looking at you like you're a fool.
Hey, fellas, anyone out there thinking I'm giving them too much game, they ain't gonna listen.
No one's going to apply these pearls of wisdom.
But those that do, you'll see them pushing the stroller down the street with an actual husband.
I got a good one.
Go ahead.
I got a really good one.
What you got?
Okay, so you know when you meet a guy and he tells you that his ex was crazy. Okay.
Oh yeah. Talk to me.
And you believe that hook, line, and sinker without asking a lot of questions around that. Like you need to sometimes
she stole all my money.
She might have a point, right? So, but I mean, sometimes she's crazy, but you cannot believe him blindly. You need to vet that out. You need to ask questions like, well, what would she say about the end of your relationship? You can't assume so quickly that the other woman is nuts.
Usually they're not. Usually it's a problem with him.
Also, I like being in good company. So I have actually befriended some of my exes. Because
I don't know why you do that.
Well, because you know what? Because they date quality women. Like I like when men date quality women, and so I feel like I'm in good company.
Like solid friend. I mean, it's cool.
Some of my
it's
good friends, we share an ex.
It happens.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes because the women can be cool, but like when they got some crazy ones now, I ain't trying to. But then I also don't enjoy it because I'm not in good company. But my point is, don't just investigate that. Don't always believe that immediately because sometimes guys are the crazy catalysts.
You know what? Don't blame.
Column about this.
Don't you go blaming us for y'all craziness.
No, but sometimes you are incenting the crazy.
Well. If I'm in,
you know what I'm saying?
That
you probably don't agree with it, but it's all right.
Even if it's right, the crazy is worse than. I may not know what your trigger is for you to go crazy. I may say, hey, I'd love some orange juice with vitamin C. And every time you hear vitamin C, you might act a rabbit-ass fool. That ain't me. You crazy.
Hell no. That's not what we're talking about.
But you said vitamin C.
That is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about when guys, and this is a popular word, I've actually been using it for a while, but when someone tries to gaslight you and try to make you feel like there is a situation going on that's not going on, or there, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, oh, do you want some orange juice? Yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay. I got one more. We got to wrap it up slightly earlier because I would like to. I got to make some housekeeping announcement how to find us next week. We got to go through that again. The last one I now want you to speak to this.
Okay.
And this is for, we've talked about mistakes men make. We've talked about mistakes women make. Here are mistakes that a lot of singles who want to be in relationships make, right? You are bamboozled, men and women, by the superficial. Mm-hmm. Looks, car, the big booty, whatever.
Yep.
If you really want someone with some staying power, when you write down your little 3 things you want in a woman, I want somebody loyal, somebody who can cook, and somebody I can trust. Don't just say screw that list as soon as the big booty walk by. And if you're a woman and you want God-fearing, loyal, honest, and then he 2 inches shorter, and you say, oh, hell to the no. Ain't no way I'm going out with no 2 inches shorter. All right. That's why you buy your damn show.
You focus on the
That's all I got. What you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, oh, look at James Turner. Kris is tripping. When a woman is easy, a man is usually being set up. So
I like that, James Turner. Go ahead.
No, but you know what? I agree with you. Don't be dazzled. All the glitters is not gold.
True
right?
that.
So you have got to get below the surface. Like some people are like hood rich. And you see all these things that are
and you're like, damn, girl, he got a bad lead on.
Oh, you know. But what,
that's
you
his
know,
whole
this
life
is what
in
my
that
father,
car.
this is what my father told. My father taught me very young.
And if any dad gives a woman, it turned out it's got to be a gym.
My dad taught me, because when I was young,
we got a sign.
I looked
You
at
got 30 seconds.
That's cool. I saw, what are you going to do, kick me out? It's on the last night. Anyway, so I saw all these. I wanted a car, right? I want a car. Seconds. Cool. And I saw all these new cars. My dad's like, you know what a new car means? You know what that expensive car means? It means a big car payment. So that means that if anyone if they can't sustain it, that car will be gone. They will take that car. And so I always looked at it differently.
That was smart.
Yeah.
Your dad gave you some good advice. Look, I'm wrapping up in 30 seconds. First, Brian Foster's next.
Yes.
With his final show. Again, this is
like
our last broadcast.
Studio.
This is our last broadcast from the What's In It for the Black People Studios. Next week, you can catch me and Gina at the same bat time on Facebook at Kris the Critic. That's KRIS space the space critic. Or YouTube, Kris the Critic. Next Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And we on our own. We're going to be in the Kris the Critic studios so we can drink, smoke weed, and do all that
do whatever
shit.
we want.
So, our final broadcast, Gina B, has been a blast here. Again, thank you for the What's In It for the Black People family, Maze Jackson, Tennille Jackson, and the rest of y'all. We love
so
y'all.
Nostalgic.
We out of here. Like last year.
Come on, baby. Wake up to the sunlight. If you play, if you ask, I will do. It's all up to you, baby. a single thing. Just tell me what you want, I'm serving.